Okay, so we're back onto the pan. My buddy Todd welded that all up. Came out pretty good. So that looks good. I made a quick pipe here and just cut a 180, put a 16-degree down angle on it. And now, then I took a 90-degree, cut that here, and I'm going to enter in through the side of the pan, right there. So that, I squished it down a little bit, but it'll smooth that out in a minute. So yeah, that's kind of my plan right now. I'm going to cut that in, get that pipe worked in, then once that's in through the hole, I will then mark this, tack this together, and then mark it and tack it into the pan. Okay, I got updates. So I took the time, I cut and matched up my pipes, butt welded them, and got those in place. Then after I cut a hole, which took considerable time, in the side of that pan, I have then just tacked in the pipe, the main pipe into it, and put my phone under the hood, slowly closed it, and found that it didn't touch. Well, after a couple of adjustments. So by just putting some strategic tacks on that interface back there, I was able to manipulate this till it didn't hit. Closest point is actually this bolt. So I'm gonna put a button head on that, get that tighter. So everything else seems to clear. Seems to be about a 1/2 inch of clearance on the front of the pan, much more than that on the back of the pan. So I think I'm good shape clearance-wise. So I'm going to go now and finish. I'm going to, weld up the interface into the pan. Then I will take and I think I actually going to make a little dent because it's touching my coil down here, and I don't necessarily like that. So I might provide a little clearance for that, just to keep that all from touching. But I'll do that after it's done. Then I've got to put in the port for the mass airflow sensor in that tube. So, yeah, that's next. All right, I apologize for skipping ahead. So I've welded this up, got it in primer. Apparently I lost some video, but it is in primer now. Ready for, I'm going to do a little bit of filler work on it, just to clean up some of the welds, like the pieces that were mandrel bent were just not quite the same radius or diameter as the straight pieces, so I've got a little bit of work to do there. But yeah, this came out pretty good. It looks a lot better with paint on it than it did with raw aluminum. For a primer for something this small, I'll use 2K Duraspray epoxy. This is oxygen activated epoxy, as I understand it. So yeah, that'll be the next step. I did weld in the mass airflow sensor, bung, or mount, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm gonna let this dry, give it a couple days probably, come back, do some filler work on it, clean it up, paint it for good. And that will be that. I've drilled the holes for my brackets. I'm gonna run some, probably just do some rivets for those. just because I don't want to risk having small screws and stuff inside the air pan. And this is my water trap port. I just got to make sure my bracket doesn't cover it. It might. Then I'll have to drill a hole in the bracket too. So anyway, this is all primed up, ready to go in. Once I get that sorted out, I'll do that. Yeah, probably a couple more days on this project and I'll have it all done. Maybe not even that. So, time to put this thing on the road just about. This was literally the last step. So, shout out to my buddy Todd who welded up the pan for me while I was at work last week. Did some TIG work on that for me, come out pretty good. Again, I'm just gonna touch it up with a little bit of filler where you can see an edge there. Just clean it up a little bit, that's all. It doesn't need much. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna continue this video until this thing is installed at this point. Okay, I've got updates. So I hit this with some, it was actually epoxy paint for calipers. Eastwood caliper paint. It's a two-part process, but I hit it. I got the mass airflow sensor in. Now I have worked out a stud, red Loctite, star washers, the whole 9 yards here. That should not come out. I've backed off my rivet idea a little bit, and I put riv nuts in the bottom of this, just because I think I might need a little bit of adjustability once I get it in there and happy. So I'll just Loctite those with blue Loctite or orange, probably blue, and they'll be fine. Put some star washers on them, they'll be good. I've oiled the air filter, tested the fit. I've also applied a seal to the bottom of it. Of course, you know, this is made to seal to the bottom of to the top of a regular air filter cartridge or element, whatever you want to call it. So I put a little foam rubber seal on it, and that works good. So then I just put it on there, tighten it up, and that's good. Now I'm going to work out the seal around the outside that seals it to the hood next. And I'll show you how I have to do that. It's a little tricky. I thought that the foam that I bought was adhesive back, but it turns out it's not. So, got to mess with that. Then I should be ready to try to fit it up. I got to put the brackets in on the motor first, right on the tabs on the fuel rails. Should be pretty straightforward, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to run these holes out to a J drill. Careful not to hit the tube. Okay. Then I'm going to run these riv nuts in. Now these riv nuts have a little knurl right at the base, and that's made to collapse around the piece that you're pushing it through. There we go. Got to be careful with M5s. They don't have a lot of thread strength, so I don't give them that second squeeze either. I already stripped one out, had to drill it. Off camera, of course. Anyway, here we go. Get the last one in. Come on, get in there. Why? Why are you fighting me so? All right, let me just run that drill through it one more time. See if I can't loosen that up. It's really strange. Why are you fighting me so? Why you want to fight all the time? All right, come on now. Get in there. There it goes. I knew I was close. Okay, that should do it. Now, I'm going to take some M5 screws. Why did I use M5? Well, everything else on the motor is metric, but it was also the closest riv nut I had to the existing hole in the fuel rails. So let me grab some M5 fasteners. I got, what do I got? Well, I got M5 socket head cap screws. Okay, so I've started my screws, I've applied some Loctite, got those in there. Just a little bit of blue Loctite for this application. These are very light threads, M5. Come on, there we go. All right, I'll just tighten those up and that's ready to go. All right, so I'm just test fitting up the pan. And I put a piece of tape on the back of it, and what I want to do is just kind of eyeball down the center line and mark it where it needs to go. And I'm just trying to get the center line in the back so that I can put a little opening in the foam back there. The idea being, so it's roughly right there. And the idea being that if any water does come down through there and comes off the back of the pan, it has a place to go. So, once again, here we are. I've just dropped a couple of screws in it temporarily to hold it, but everything else seems to fit good, seems to look fine. Not really seeing any issues at this point, but it looks like it's going to work. Okay, so next step. I've masked off the pan and I've masked off my piece of foam, and I'm going to apply some contact cement and try to adhere the foam to the pan nicely. This should work fine, and what I'll do then, this is way too tall, and what I'm going to do is just after it's applied, I'll cut the proper angle in it. I'll probably leave the tape on the outside so I can draw it, and then we'll cut this in a controlled manner. So anyway, let's have a look and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've applied my contact cement. I'm using this spray adhesive from Gorilla. We'll see how it goes. Everywhere I've used it so far, it's been pretty cooperative. The foam is interesting because it just wants to sink into that, but I think it'll be okay once it gets on there. I'm going to let this set for a few minutes, then apply it. I'll peel the tape off this first, get it all cleaned up and ready to go, and then apply the opposite end, and hopefully everything will stick nicely. Okay, that's it applied. I got it pretty good. Feels like it's going to stay. I just got to work my way around it now. And I know I'm only going to be about 1.5 inches here in the front. And then in the back, I'll probably be closer to 2.5 on this side. But once I get it in there, I can kind of judge that better. But it looks pretty good, pretty good. That's going to stay. I'm not worried about that at all. I might flip this upside down and just let the weight rest on it for a little bit while I take care of a couple of other things. But yeah, not bad. Pretty happy with that. And then I got a little escape for the water right here. If any should come down through, and it'll drip. So yeah, good. Seems to be sticking well. The old Gorilla Glue did its trick. Okay, we'll see what happens here next. All right, so I've taken the time to just put a stripe of tape around that kind of follows the contour of the hood, and it'll compress it probably a ½ an inch pretty consistently all the way around. So I feel pretty good about that. We're gonna cut that next, and I'll show you a way I learned on the YouTubing of how to cut this stuff, and it works pretty nice. So here, let me set you up on the tripod and I'll show you what I'm into. Okay, so got your standard kitchen turkey carver here, or whatever you want to call it, and I am just going to work my way around on my tape line. This works really nice, and it gives you a nice clean cut in the foam. I was super impressed with this. I tested it on a piece of scrap just to make sure everything was kosher. It's way better than I could do with a knife, that's for sure. Okay, just got a couple little spots I got to fix here. There we go. And round back here, just to even it up. And there we go. Not bad. Okay, now I'll just peel the tape off and that's ready to go in. Okay, I'm going to call that and put it in. Okay, so we've got that dropped in. Just trying to run the screws down through it now. Yeah, we're pretty close. Pretty close. Anyway, I'll get that lined up and drop the screws in. All right, just a few more little things to tie up here, and we'll have it. First thing is I got to clamp this to the tube, even up my clamps. That all looking pretty. There we go. Try not to beat up the paint. My thumb between it. There you go. What I like about this unit is there should be no flexing anywhere in it because it all goes with the motor, right? If you had the filter out here tied to the fender or something, you tend to be prone to that sort of thing, but not here. All right, I'm gonna plug in the mass airflow sensor. That's good. Now the last finishing touch is the air bonnet, the filter. Now I suspect this will be the trickiest part of this bit, is just getting this lined up. But it tends to fit in there pretty snug, so hopefully it's lined up. I'm hitting the standoff. All right. Just get a screwdriver down in there and figure out what it's doing. There we go. Just had to come forward a little bit. There it goes. I did this with a button head just because I'm nervous about clearance right there. I don't think I need to be though. I feel like everything will close up nicely. Okay, that's it, assembled, ready to rock. Let me bring you in a little closer here. All right, I think that system's gonna work pretty good. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. I think I got a hair too much foam. This will tell me. It's actually holding up the back of my hood a little bit. Don't want that. So let's see what the video says. Okay, that angle showed that it was pretty good on the front. Did compress a lot. Let's see what happens in the back. That's probably okay. It's very hard to tell. Here we go. This will work. Right there. Yeah, I believe that's done. All right, that'll wrap up this video.